Welcome back to Soda City Live. Monarch Manor is a new project in the works through Midlands Housing Alliance that will aim to provide permanent housing for seniors. Midlands Housing Alliance is the same nonprofit that runs Transitions Homeless Shelter in Columbia. And today, CEO and President Craig Curry will be sharing more about what this opportunity will mean for seniors and where the facility will be located, along with details about their upcoming ribbon cutting. Joining me again today is Mr. Curry. So glad to have you joining us.
Thanks.
Share these details. Such a pleasure. So we want to stress that this is not the same as Transitions. This is not a shelter.
Not at all. It's not a shelter. It's permanent apartment units for disabled and elderly Americans. And again, we found in our 12 years of existence at Transitions, it's really hard to place a person with disabilities and elderly into any apartment. Very hard to what's called ADA compliant Americans with Disability Act. It's really, they just don't exist in the affordable range. So we're going to make new apartments that are completely ADA compliant. You ask, well, what does that mean? It means like wider doors, more room in the bathrooms, certain handles so you can push yourself up if you need to, elevators to get you up to the second floor that are big enough to get the wheelchairs in and out of by themselves. So it's a lot that's available to people there. And we're doing a ribbon cutting tomorrow at 10:30. It's at Dutch Plaza, which is 800 Dutch Square Boulevard, very near the All South Bank there. It's on the outskirts of Dutch Square Mall along the parking lot there. Come on by tomorrow at 10:30. We'll cut the ribbon. And this is the beginning. People think sometimes that there's an elaborate solution to homelessness. It's not an easy problem, but one of the biggest ones, if not the biggest one, is affordable housing. And if you don't have a place to put people, and the staff at Transitions works very hard, but if you don't have a place to put them, much less disabled folks in a wheelchair or in a walker who need more room and more space to move around and get where they need to get, then it's really hard. It's really impossible. So our goal here, open up 22 units in phase 1, and then over time we'll do phase 2 and 3, and that'll take us to 55 units. So we're going to have permanent apartments for Monarch Manor, and we also have adult daycare. And adult daycare, again, you can drop your loved one off there, and that's really for providers. Has nothing to do with homelessness, has to do with elderly and medically fragile. So caretakers are there. They do a great job. We do this at Transitions now. We're going to move that over to this new area where we've purchased the property. There are old office buildings that we're converting into these apartments and adult daycare.
I love that. And you just want to stress again that the upper area is going to be for residents, but that lower area is for anyone. The adult daycare is for anyone that needs the service.
It's for anybody who needs the services. We'll take Medicaid, private insurance, and eventually we'll build more units on the ground floors as well as we expand to the other buildings. This initial phase deals with the back 2 buildings, which have been unoccupied. So again, we're trying to stimulate the area and help make it better for the community. So we'll be working on the back 2 buildings, and the front 2 buildings, which have been rented. Eventually we'll find a new renter or maybe sell one of the buildings. But we're trying to get to 55 apartment units.
That's amazing, and that's a great goal, especially for those in the community that need it. Do you have an estimate of when this will be completed, or
we're looking at the end of the year?
Okay.
So we'll break ground here in July at some point, and then we're on a final contracting right now with Weathers Contracting, and we're working with them. We have Colliers, LCK is our developer, and they're working, they know lots of builders, and they've been going through a process working through that. So we're excited. We think they'll be able to start demolition, because really the insides will be gutted and worked into these apartment units. So in sometime, we hope in July, that'll start, and then it'll go till probably November-ish. And then they'll be finished and they'll be ready to be occupied December, January, somewhere in that time frame.
All right. Well, Craig, great deal. Thank you so much for sharing these details. We have a full screen up for the ribbon cutting tomorrow. That's going to be at the Dutch Square Plaza, 800 Dutch Square Boulevard. Again, tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Now, with this ribbon cutting, will there be a way for people to walk through and just kind of see, or it's just
we're going to have one of the buildings in fact, if it's raining, we're going to be inside the ground floor on one of the buildings, so you'll get to see what they look like. All 4 buildings are very similar in structure, so by being in one, you're going to have a good idea of what the other ones are like, and then you'll kind of see, well, we got to knock some walls out here and there and put some plumbing and electrical in, but it will be really nice and brand new apartments for folks to occupy. We're really excited about this, and we're grateful that you had us on the show today.
Absolutely. It was such a pleasure, because I'm sure there's someone out there that needs to know this information. So I thank you so much for joining us today. We'll have all these details and some of the pictures of the blueprint there on our website, SodaCityLive.com. Be sure to stick with us. We have much more coming up after the break.